My name is Martina Webster. I'm a realtor in the southern Indiana markets of Clark, Floyd, Harrison, Washington, and Scott counties. I will also be joining the Sellersburg Town Council in January of 2016. I'm creating this video about the Regional Cities Initiative in order that you might be more informed and that you might help others become so too. The first thing I'd like to explain is how this program got started. It's a new program in 2015 that the IEDC, the Indiana Economic Development Corporation, and Mike Pence put before the legislature. The IEDC, the first thing you should know, is that it used to be the Department of Commerce, but our state has turned this into a quasi-government agency and a public-private partnership. So you should look in the Indy Star for their lobbying efforts on behalf of this Regional Cities Initiative. I will put a link below on that topic. So the legislature initially did not want to fund this program to the tune that the IDC and Mike Pence wanted, and they lobbied back to get the $84 million that they have designed to go towards this Regional Cities Initiative. So the first thing you should understand is that the $84 million is a carrot to get our regions to sign on to a regional development authority. The $84 million is being funded with tax amnesty, which means that people who owe back taxes will be offered amnesty to pay them back without penalties and interest if they pay them back this year. They've done it once before in 2005 timeframe, and it was so successful that they believe that they will at least receive $84 million if they offer this tax amnesty. So the first thing you should understand is that because it's funded on tax amnesty, they obviously can't offer that every 2 years, otherwise nobody would pay their taxes on time. So in year 3, there is no future funding promised by the state. In order for the state to offer funding, they will have to cut from somewhere else. My concern is that this money could go towards libraries, to schools, to other more essential services than these projects that they're touting as quality of place initiatives. My philosophy is that these are things that the locals probably can't get the citizens to agree to do, so why are we handing our authority to an appointed board in order to do the things that the citizens probably wouldn't agree to do? The Regional Cities Initiative is a lottery, and we are applying in a competitive nature against other regions in order to get a portion of that $84 million over the next 2 years. Only 2 regions will be selected. There is no promise that it will be equally split between the 2 regions. The IEDC determines all of that. They determine the guidelines and the applications. They will be judging the applications. The RDA, first of all, in order to apply to the Regional Cities Initiative grant, we have to form a Regional Development Authority, or otherwise known as an RDA. The RDA statute is IC-36-7.6. I will also place information on that below so that you can read that statute for yourself. It is very concerning. This entity is being governed by state law. So once we assign ourselves to this RDA, we are entrusting our powers to the state legislature. Our local officials are trusting that the state legislature will not grow the powers of an RDA or grow the monies given to an RDA. As a realtor, one of my top concerns about the powers of this RDA is that they can come on our property. All they have to do is give notice. They do not need permission to enter our property and inspect it for their needs. For any project that they determine that is good for the common good, they can come on our property and inspect, measure, do testing, all to determine whether it meets their needs. And then the state statute also gives them the power of eminent domain. Locally, our Chamber of Commerce is telling our officials that they can limit that power of eminent domain via a local ordinance. But anybody familiar with government and the preemption doctrine understands that state statute will trump a local ordinance. So while initially they can get you to sign the dotted line right now telling you that you can limit this, if it has to go to court, it's obvious that the state statute will win, and they can take our property even without the authority of our local fiscal bodies. The people that will be making these decisions will be a 5-member appointed board, and The board members cannot be elected officials, and they cannot be somebody that works for a government agency. So the other issue that I have with this is not only that they're insulated from elections and that an elected official cannot sit on this board, the county commissioners will be putting in names into the hat to be chosen on the board, but there is nothing that ties that appointee to that person that appointed them. I serve on 2 government entity boards. I serve on the Clark County Plan Commission, and I serve on the Sellersburg Parks and Recreation Board. If the people who appointed me, either the county commissioners on the Clark County Plan Commission or the Sellersburg Town Council, if they do not like what I am doing on the Plan Commission or on the Parks and Recreation Board, they can remove me at any time. I serve at their discretion. This board is not set up that way. This board, once the person is appointed, is only responsible for the region. They owe their allegiance to the region, not the person who appointed them. So even if Clark County residents do not like what this board is doing, we cannot remove them. We can vote out every single commissioner, we can change the makeup of the county council, and we still can't remove the person that supposedly Clark County appointed to this board. In order to remove someone, we cannot remove them before 4 years, and then we have to have approval of 75% of the other members of the RDA executive members, which would be the other county commissioners in Floyd, Harrison, and so on, which we don't have control over those elections. So if Floyd and Harrison like what's going on, and they like the previous Clark County appointee, even if we vote out every single incumbent in our county, we can't remove our appointee, our appointee. The other thing that they're telling them is that if we don't receive the regional cities monies, that we can mothball this entity. That if we don't get regional cities money, then this RDA board will just sit over here twiddling their thumbs and have nothing to do. So there's no concerns. But there are concerns because further in the powers of the state statute, IC 36-7.6, they have the authority to take any kind of grant monies they can apply for. So they can apply for any monies from the EPA and bind our region with environmental mandates. They can take money from HUD and bind our region with housing mandates. They can take money from FEMA, from any of the other 3- and 4-letter acronyms out of Washington, D.C., and instead of it only being New Albany taking HUD money and being bound by the mandates, it would be our entire region because it's our regional board accepting those monies. The final thing is right now they're asking us to trust the people that are appointing people to this board. They're asking us to trust the people that will be appointed to this board. But as we know with every government program, the power just continues to grow and grow. And that's a magnet for people that like power. So my concern is that they're getting them to agree to sign on the dotted line today based on these assumptions, knowing that we're stuck in it for 8 years and possibly more, and all with the promise that we can trust them. And they say, no, it's not based on trust, but it's based on trusting that the Board of Appointees will work in the best interest of our county, that the board will not use the state statute powers, that the state legislature will not increase the powers of an RDA, and that the state, and via state statute, that they won't give the RDA the power to tax and spend our personal monies. Right now, they're promising them that the bonding has to go before the county council, and therefore, we're safe. But the amount of lobbying being done on behalf of this RDA in the beginning should warn us about the amount of lobbying that will happen once money is in the pot. I implore you to learn more about this issue. There's a website, www.noregionalcities.com. There's a Facebook page, facebook.com/Hoosiers Against Regional Cities. You can email myself, Martina, at martinawebster.com. And if you are in Clark, Floyd, or Harrison counties, I implore you to please come to your county council meeting next week. Washington County voted on August 3rd against joining this RDA 6-1. So I pray that you will come on August 10th to Clark County at 6 p.m., at Harrison County on August 10th at 7 p.m., and Floyd County August 11th at 4 p.m. Citizens, it requires your diligence.